Okay, so about to start the car. Key into the barrel, turn on the ignition. For some reason we didn't hear the fuel pump priming. Okay, let's just turn the car and see what happens. Nothing. Okay. So on the side cover here, we can see that number 28, which is all up here, it's 20 amp fuse and it's fuel pump. So that was the cover that was on here, and number 28 is over here at the side. So the third one up from the bottom. That's 1, 2, 3, third one up. And we can see that the fuse is actually still intact. So we have a problem, it still won't start. Okay, so we drop the front seat forward. There's 3 screws around the sides. I have them already removed. Just take that off. Now what we're going to do is try to get the car to start. So we're going to make sure that the ignition is on. We don't hear anything. We're going to take a hammer and just tap here where the X is. So just at the top, very top there. Nearly had it there. Okay, so after loads of tapping, I got the car running. Okay, so brute force really did actually get the car started. So loads of tapping on the fuel pump just there, and I got the car running. So I don't think it's running very well. So we're going to turn it off and we're going to replace the fuel pump. Okay, so another thing we can do is probe the 2 connectors on the outside, and therefore the fuel pump, the 2 inside ones are the fuel gauge. We have it hooked up to a multimeter in DC 12 volts. We're going to turn on the ignition now and see what happens. So we got a shot there of 13 volts or 11 volts, whatever it was, and that dropped off. So that's just to prime the fuel pump just when you turn on the ignition. And obviously then when you crank the engine, it'll send more power down to turn on the fuel pump. So it is getting power, it's just not getting the fuel because the fuel pump is dead. Okay, now to obviously remove the whole cap and everything. First job is to remove the connector, which you've done already. Now we're going to undo the two fuel lines, which I've already done, and there's, same as doing the fuel filter, there's a little button at the far side. This side you just push it in and pull them up. Very easy. Okay, and now after a little bit of gentle persuasion, we have the ring off. It actually came off very easy, and now we're going to pull out the fuel pump. Okay, so sorry about the bad lighting, but hopefully we're winning now. So we have this disconnected. There's an electrical connection and a pipe connector with a quick release on it again. They're both disconnected, and there's a little little plastic connector down at the side. About to undo that, and hopefully we'll be able to pull the whole fuel pump out. Okay, ta-da! So I have it all out, which is brilliant. Took a little bit more work than I thought it was going to take, but I got it out. So once you get the lid off, the spring is going to pop out, but it just floats there anyway. It's not going to fall off, so that's okay. Next job is you find the pipe here on top, follow it around, and there's a quick release like what there was on top of these and on top of the fuel filter. So just a quick release, you just push it in, slide it off. There's an electrical connector, and you do the same with it. So that's that part of the job done. And then these pipes here they kind of just trail over here. So you just bring everything back. So when they're, and obviously on this side, then they'll lift vertically straight up. And there's a connector on this side, little plastic clip. I'll show it to you now, and you just have to get it off. So this is the little plastic clip. You can see there, it has like 2 little hooks on it. And all you do is you get your fingers on it and just lift it up like that, and then I think you push it back down again, and that'll release it. So the way this works then is, because there's a prop shaft, because it's 4-wheel drive, there's the fuel tank saddles the 4-wheel drive or the prop shaft, and obviously then the tank is split in half. So there's half on that side, half on this side. That's just an empty cover, there's nothing inside it. So then obviously the fuel has been drawn from both sides. So that's what the little pipe does. I'm not really sure what the electrical connector does. Maybe there is a little pump on the far side. I'm not opening it because the main problem is the main fuel pump. Okay, so I believe this is the culprit, the fuel pump here, and I'm going to replace it. So the place I went to, it was next day's delivery, but they couldn't get me a full unit. They said they just don't stock them, the car's too old, but they can get me a fuel pump. So they got me the fuel pump, and here it is. And here it is. Okay, so the next job was to undo the Torx here. They're Torx 20. They're like little Allen keys, and that pops off. Now we're going to undo the clip here and the clips at the side. We're going to take off the top and then hopefully be able to pull the whole pump out. Okay, and here we are so far. So I took the pipe off first, then we undid the clips all the way around, so that's that off. And now we're going to try and pull the fuel pump out. And with two hands, fuel pump comes out. So that's what it looks like inside. That's the old fuel pump. You can see all the way down, there's no ring down there and a strainer. And we turn the strainer around and look how much dirt is in that. No, it's not the worst that I've ever seen, but yeah, we're going to clean that as well. And new fuel pump, new O-rings, and it should be ready to go. Okay, now about to drop it into the ultrasonic bath. And now out of the ultrasonic bath, the two parts look very clean. Very happy with that. All the dirt has gone off the bottom of it. And yeah, I'm happy. They'll never be perfect. They are 20 years of age parts. But I'm very happy with how they turned out. Now we have our new pump. We're going to turn it upside down and install the O-rings. So the three O-rings we got are two are the same size and one is smaller. So we take the smallest one and that goes in the center just here. Next we take the biggest one and that goes on the outside. That's the fuel pump part of it done. Now we take the next one and we place the O-ring just in the center in here. Okay, so now we got the fuel pump in. So if you leave the container in the shape of a D, the nipple points down to the bottom, and when it points down to the bottom, you can then get everything else in, and that fits, this piece here fits in just a little gap. And also that little pipe that's just at the end of here, it matches up with the hole in the bottom of the fuel pump. Now the hardest bit is actually done, so now it's only a matter of reassembly. So I put the O-ring actually on the top of the fuel pump here because it just wouldn't sit into this here. So now we're just going to turn it around, push it all down, and we should hear it click. In a previous video I showed this pump assembly being rebuilt. It had the black top, so that was wrong for this car. So the black top with no side nipple is 3 bar and it goes to any 1.8 two-wheel drive. So if you have a quattro or 4-wheel drive, this pump is pumping at 4 bar and it has a side nipple because the fuel tank has a saddle in it. That saddle divides the fuel tank into two basically. So this pipe here is siphoning out of the second tank and filling the main tank, and then this pump here is sucking from the main tank and sending the fuel up to your engine. So if you have a quattro, you need this side pump here. So the only way to get it is to buy the entire housing. So you can see that this pump here, oops, now has a pump on the side of it, or a pipe on the side of it, like this one here. This is the original one, but the one I was showing in the previous video didn't have anything at the side. It was also a lot cheaper. This one here was double the price, and they only sell it with the complete housing. So you could probably buy the pump for the same price you could buy that one or the original one, and because you want this housing on the side of it, they charge you double the price. But there's no way to buy it that I could find without this housing already built into it. So what we're going to do is take apart the rest of this, because I have a new top for it, and then just rebuild the whole lot. Okay, and now I have it all rebuilt. So about to install it into the car. I end up using the original housing, but the new fuel pump. Okay, so there's absolutely no room to do this, but I'm just showing you in the video. This is the spare filter housing I have, and that there on the left hand side, they're the two little hooks that hook onto the two little knobs, top and bottom, and they're actually what hold on the level sensor. So I'm going to try and get all of this assembly just here onto this one, all inside the tank, but I'm not going to be able to film it. So this is the pipe just here at the top, and it has a little level sensor with it. The plug actually goes to a level sensor in the far side, way over there, and it also tells the dash how full or how empty the fuel tank is. So it takes two levels. One is from this one here, which is the far side, and then this side here, which uses this level sensor here. Okay, I'm about to install all of this setup now into the car, and I'm not going to be able to film it, so you'll just have to take my word for it. It's going in, because it's the only way to get the car to start. Okay, I now have the whole system installed into the car. So what I did was, I found this the easiest way to do it, because I've done it a few times because it didn't go in the first time, is find the end of this pipe here. There's a electric connector and a pipe that are floating inside the tank. Just get the electrical connector, bend it in the shape of a J or upside down J, and hook it onto the side out in here. Then put the whole system in, and then get this connector and join it onto the one that you've basically hooked. And now they're connected, which means that when you fish the line in, the pipe will be at the other end of it. So then all you have to do is join the two pipes together. And I managed to get the pipe onto the side, which is connected onto the level sensor. I don't know where it is, somewhere down there anyway. It's connected. It took me ages to do it, but I got it on. So now the next job is to get all the pipes back in, get the rubber ring that seals everything, put it in first, and then push the whole housing down into that and get the big ring then onto it again. And then I should be finished. Okay, so this is as far as I've gotten so far. Now all I have to do is get the lid, put it down, and get the cap on. Okay, so got this far already. So it's always a really good idea to put a scratch onto everything, so you know when everything lines up. So there is an arrow at the front which points to the front, and I put a scratch just there, and there's a scratch just there in the just behind the H. So I've just bring this across there, then I know it's all tightened up back to factory specs. Okay, now I have it all bolted up, so we're going to attempt to start it. So turn on the ignition, turn off the ignition, light the key, wait for the radio to make noises. That's 2 primes it's had. Attempt to start it now. Start the first turn of the key. That is brilliant. Okay, and my only tip for you if you're going to do the same job is make sure you have loads of light. So I have a big light up there and a torch, and just flooding the area with light because it's so dark, and by the time you get your whole body in there as well, it's an absolute pain of a job to do, but it is done and I'm absolutely delighted with that. You just have to impress people to get people to watch your show. Now you just have to impress the algorithm. So do me a favour, give me a thumbs up, subscribe over there. All hail the algorithm. Thanks very much for watching, guys. See you later.